If you're joining the military, like I just don't know what kind of goyim cattle sheep slave you are, to be honest.
Sonny, what's the sentiment in America? Like, do they believe that they've won the war? Do they believe that it's genuinely going to be in and out? What's the general kind of sentiment?
I mean, I could speak for my age demographic. I'm 22 years old. For people my age, nobody wants to go and die for Israel. I can tell you that right now. Basically, everyone under the age of 35 understands who controls our country, who's lobbying our politicians, infiltrated our media. We're all awake to this stuff now. I
think the statistic is 30% of Trump's vote base, only 30% wants him to go to war with Iran. So that goes in line with what you're saying.
It's probably less, though.
I heard it was 20%.
Yeah, but where do they do these stats? First of all, you have to consider who even fills out these polls. Nobody my age is doing polls. If I get a text message to fill out a poll, I'm blocking and deleting that number right away. I mean, you just look at social media, you look at the comments, and that's still with them trying to fight back on comments and videos with bots. And it's still the common consensus that nobody wants to go die for them. I mean, I just made a tweet about this the other day. Since 2020, right? That's 6 years ago now, where people could have left the military if you've already been inside of it, okay? So 2020 was the presidential election, Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. Okay, in front of our eyes, me and all my friends saw them essentially steal that election and make Joe Biden president. So now it's obvious to everyone in the country that there's people behind the scenes that are actually running the show, right? Now what happens also in 2020, they had forced everyone to get a vaccine to even leave their house. Wow. Like, I don't know how bad it was in the UK, but you couldn't even go to CVS. You couldn't go to certain restaurants if you were in major cities.
It was bad.
Dude, and I was 17, 16 at the time, and I still didn't get it. Like, me and my friends were walking around with no mask. People were yelling at us, and we were like, say something to our face. Literally,
my brother.
From a young
What
age.
does that mean, Khalid? Sorry. Does that mean you
absolutely didn't get a vaccine.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
No, but then, that was like the first real major sign where if you didn't wake up back then, it's kind of like, oof, that's a rough one. And then you fast forward a few years, and now 2024 is where I would say the Great Awakening begins to start, where people really wake up to who the Matrix is. 2023, this is where Andrew Tate started introducing the idea of the Matrix. 24, 25 is where people realized who the Matrix is. And so now by this point, if you're joining the military, like I just don't know what kind of goyim cattle sheep slave you are, to be honest. And my point where I mentioned the 2020 is because typically people will sign a 4-year contract to join the military. That means you've had plenty of time to leave, plenty of time to get out. So there's no excuse for anyone that's in. And I'll tell you this, no American that I know would want to join if drafted today.
Is there a minimum conscription time?
It depends. So there's different, you can double check this online, but there's different contracts you can get when you join for years. And then